Yeah.
If you got
Got
the love
love
and you
and you
got
want
the
to
time, you're full of
full the
ambition,
vision.
we will
You
be right
right,
there.
so come
Come
on.
on. Ooh, come
Come
on.
on.
It's been a while.
Welcome to
Oh my
Family Fair.
God.
How's it going,
It sounded
guys?
like Medea was in the house. The song was that. Was
Oh man, it's
Get
been a
ready.
while. It's been a while
Oh,
with that
it
track,
has
man.
been a while. Travesty in the house. Hey, y'all. Hello? Hello?
Hello, where's our Stallion gone?
Oh, no. I'm here.
Are we experiencing a little bit of
Technical difficulties.
difficulties? That is so funny because last show was no technical difficulties, so it must be the fact that you're here again, Travesty.
No, you're not going to throw shade
You,
at me,
you,
pudding.
you bought the crashing vibes to the
No.
technology. What's
Crashing
going on?
vibes. There's going to be crashing vibes when I turn up at your house. Me crashing
Oh
through the
man.
door. I can't believe this geezer has disappeared off the podcast. Well, I might as well take over then. If we
No,
are
I'm
still
kind,
live
I'm
to
kind,
all our
I'm kind of here,
listeners.
but
Oh no.
I'm kind of here, but I'm having a meltdown at the moment. Give me a second, okay?
All right.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I'll take over today's today's podcast. Welcome to a Family Affairs podcast featuring me, Travesty, Pudding,
Hi.
and a special guest today for Afro, aka Leanne, another family member, and she's agreed to join us on tonight's podcast to discuss some issues which we all find passionate to each other and individually. So, do you want to take it away, Pudding?
Well, like we always start. Sorry, I've got a mouthful of sweets at the moment. You know, as it's
Oh, that's
Friday, my
terrible.
Friday treat.
Oh, Friday treat.
Excuse
Well, it
me,
is the bank
folks.
holiday.
Oh, yeah, it is. Wow, what's going on with all this Corona malarkey now? You
Oh,
know,
wow.
festivals have started. I've
Yes,
seen one
festivals have
post.
definitely started.
I've seen one post. The Reading Festival, which I was discussing with you the other day about, I was going to go and work there. Someone
Yeah,
must have took a snap of
yeah.
a positive test. But obviously, the
Oh my God.
festival's still going on, and it's going around viral. And everyone was
Oh,
like
that's a
quoting different songs, saying, you know, how we're gonna get locked up. They're gonna run through all the festivals, and then we're gonna get locked up and everything. And then, you know, Section Boy songs, everything lock off. Everyone was saying that in the comments.
oh no. Terrible. Well, the government has recently announced that obviously by September you will have to be double jabbed to be able to go and party. So what's going on with the months leading up to that, where everybody is actually at the festivals right now, like you've just said. So I don't feel or see how this is any way going to help combat the rising cases we're going to have in regards to COVID. There's no
I
chance.
don't get that.
And I no, I just see it as blatant blackmail to force people who do not want to accept the government's vaccine to try and get us sort of ostracized. So, for the young, obviously, the people who are still going out and partying, this will affect them. It doesn't
Yeah,
affect
it's
people like me.
discrimination.
You know what I mean? It is
Yeah,
it's blatant discrimination
it is.
because,
But think of it this way. Sorry to cut you. Think of it this way, though, Travis.
yeah,
As soon as everything eased a little bit in June, July, before like you could even go out to eat properly and actually sit in and eat, the cricket stadiums were open, all them posh sports were open. There was thousands and thousands of people going there, sitting closely together. No rules were applied to them. Where social
definitely.
distancing and you know people obviously took the mick with their mask and was drinking, drunk. And then when it comes to the young people and they want to go clubbing, you know, oh, you've got to be double jabbed. That doesn't make sense because you see festivals as a big club and it's a bigger scale, a larger scale, and they haven't said anything about the double jab for
Yeah,
festivals. It doesn't make sense. But
because
Trashy was saying something to me about
yeah,
this. So apparently they're gonna abolish, or I might be wrong. Don't really take my word as like anything gospel, but something about they're gonna transfer how we get tested in a way where our fingers are gonna get pricked. So it's gonna be the bloodline instead of doing it in the mouth and nose. I heard.
okay, then that's probably a
Yeah.
more in depth and probably more accurate test.
Yeah.
And then you'll
Uh,
probably find out that you've got something else on top of that to stress you out
Yeah,
more.
it's true.
Definitely.
Diabetes from the lockdown
Yeah,
staying in.
it's terrible. But then, following on that, obviously, to combat this with the young people, they've obviously jumped onto going out. But for the older people, they've used the holidays. You have to be double jabbed to do this. You got to do to go there, to go here, or you don't have to quarantine, or you have to have a PCR. It's crazy. Anywhere that there's revenue involved, I think personally. I don't know what everybody else is thinking because obviously this is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Everything's about and revolves around the financial aspect of this
of
COVID.
course,
They've
True.
made a lot of
of course.
money and they want to continue to make money by putting these restrictions on us. You know what I mean?
I, I,
It's
I,
just
tell,
out of order.
I want to tell you how it's happening in Germany. In Germany, it's ridiculous to how to say it. They've issued a free G system to call it. So if
Yeah.
you want to go in anywhere, if you want to go to restaurants or you want to go to football places or go out, you have to have two of the three Gs, which is basically immunity, natural immunity, an
Mm,
injection, or and a negative pass. So you have to have a negative pass in the injection that counts, or you can
mm.
be immune and injection, or you can have immunity and a negative test. If you don't have two of the three, you ain't getting in nowhere. You can't just come with a test, or you can't just be negative. You can't. Like basically, I've started doing a choir, and the woman which wrote me today said I have to come there every week now and have a test, a negative
Yeah.
test. If I don't do
Yeah.
that, I can't go. I can't do it anymore. That's it.
Oh.
That's how we've got to. We've got to now. Literally, they're actually hitting you now. Wherever you
Well,
count, wherever you might have fun, they're hitting you there. Okay, if you don't do that, if you're not negative or you don't have the injection, you can't do nothing. You stay in your
but
house
do
and that's
you,
it.
but Stelio, do you think this is government led or just personal business owners and establishments putting these restrictions in?
It's just
Because I think some
establishment.
of these things are crazy. Because yeah, you have. Well, you do. How many times a week do you have get tested at work?
Normally
Only
it's
when you feel symptoms,
twice.
any. That's what I
That's true.
mean.
Yeah,
So why is it that I'm going to this place once? They want me to test? It's out of order.
because they don't want you to have fun.
Mm?
They want
But they
everyone
want
to
you to make
perform.
money though, don't they? Again,
Yeah,
financial.
and that's it. Basically, like I said, I was saying to somebody today, it's basically like if you don't do it, we'll take your money. They can't
Yeah,
say they're gonna kill you. So they're like, if you don't do it, we're gonna take your money. We're gonna make the fine so high that you're so afraid to lose that money. But I was like, what happens when you don't have any more money? What are you gonna do? Yeah, I'll throw you in
yeah,
prison. Okay, then what are you gonna do after that?
yeah.
Well, I'll keep you in prison. Yeah, okay, then what are you gonna do after that? It's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it
It's
is
getting on my nerves. It's
terrible.
getting on my nerves. But
Mm.
I'm gonna stand my ground. I said, you know what? I'm gonna pay the test when I need it. I'm gonna pay the test. I'm gonna pay the test until I don't know until it stop. I'm not gonna go for the injection. I'm not doing it. I said
Mm.
actually had a discussion with a guy the other day. He basically came in and said, no, they're trying to get me to go to a band, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna come play for you. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm not really comfortable that you're not vaccinated. I was like, dude, because he was like, you're basically making everybody sick. Like he tried to give me all these excuses
Wow.
why. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
I'm the reason why everyone's gonna get sick. They won't let you come in and play, and they won't let you have any gigs and stuff like this. And I don't feel safe around you. And I'm like, hold on a minute, wait a second. You're allowed to do everything you want because you're vaccinated. I'm not allowed to do anything. You are gonna get infected with the coronavirus or whatever you call it. Me, I might get infected as well, but you're gonna get infected, and you're still allowed to spread it. I'm not allowed to spread it because I'm not allowed anywhere. So you're the dangerous guy. I'm not as dangerous as you are, regardless of how you look at it. Because I'm not allowed to do stuff that you're allowed to do. When you're out eating with all your chums in a place full of corona, I'll be outside thinking, I wish I could go in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
True.
it's true. It's true.
So
Did you tell this
Definitely.
person that they're still
It's
a
like a
carrier?
Nazi society.
Outside,
Yeah.
yeah.
what did he say?
Did you tell them
Yeah,
that? Did you tell that person that they're still a carrier though, even though they've had the
I
vaccination?
said I explained to him, but for some reason, people who are vaccinated they tend to feel
I
like
think they're immune.
they think they're like special. But I'm like, guys, trust me, this
They need to stop
vaccination
thinking they're
is just
part
to
of the
stop you
Avengers,
dying.
if you ask me.
If people do their research and educate themselves, they'll realise that they're not actually immune.
Yeah, they're not
You can
immune.
still catch it. They're just spinning that you won't die or have it as
Yeah, you
bad.
won't die. That's
But
it.
you will
That's
still
it.
catch it just like
You
me.
still got
I've
it.
had
Yeah.
it. I'm still alive. So that proves that my body fought it naturally. And anybody
Yeah.
else who's a COVID survivor, yes, we agree. People in the early stages when this corona was first appeared, people were dying. But seriously, if people could go back and look at the people's deaths, each and in every individual death, they'd probably find that it wasn't corona that killed them. It was corona contributed to their death, but there was something else going on that their body could just not take because corona is bad. I'm not going to play it off like it's easy, but if you have got a good enough immune system, you keep hydrated, just keep taking the paracetamol. Just like when you've got the bad flu, many people haven't suffered a real flu. A real flu will
Yeah.
take you off your feet for 2 weeks easy. You will feel weak. You won't be able to do anything. You will feel like you're dying. And just like the flu does kill. It's been around, and not everybody takes the flu vaccine, but you're not being ostracized the same as if you don't take the COVID vaccine, which is another form of a really bad flu. This is what it is. I've lived through it. It's a bad flu. So,
Yeah, actually, it makes
hopefully the
sense.
variant.
Yeah, it makes sense that you say that. Actually, that most people have never really had a real flu when I think about. Because I think,
No, they
like I
haven't.
said, I think just before this whole thing started, I got really sick, like, and I was like, ouch, I was dehydrated. I can't remember coughing or anything, but I was really, really sick. And I was
Yeah.
like, and that was like a short time span, a couple of like weeks before I was sick, like from something else. And then I had like actually I had
Yeah.
tonsillitis, and a couple of
Yeah.
weeks that I was really sick again. I was like, I've never been sick in such a close, amount of time.
Proximity. Yeah.
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 And I was like, wow, what is this, man? And I didn't know what it was. And then obviously this whole thing started straight after. And I was like, hold on
Yeah.
a minute. That must have been what I had. That's what I said just before like got all around the world.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sure I had that.
Yeah. Same here. I was really
Yeah, I
bad when I
had
came
it.
back from Mexico. I was really,
Yeah.
really, really bad. And I was like, oh my God. But to be fair, I was bad. But when I had corona or COVID, not corona, COVID, that was worse than when I was sick when I came from Mexico
Really?
because I lost my taste and my smell. But I didn't have a cold.
Okay.
That's what was weird. You don't have a cold. So you're not, your nose isn't dribbling like when you have a cold or blocked up like you've got a headache. It's just like everything's gone. You can't smell anything, but you can breathe. You can't taste anything, but you can eat, but you can't. It's just like existing. You're not really living.
Yeah.
So
Like,
it's a funny illness.
wait
I can
there.
imagine why some people, like I said, with underlying illnesses would die because at probably the fifth day, you really do. It takes you off your feet.
Yeah.
So
I'm just actually wondering who the hell is this Afro person and that person hasn't said a word yet.
Oh yeah, sorry, I've been eating sweets listening to you all. Sorry.
You need sweets.
yeah.
So how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us. Sorry, to remind everyone, sorry, Medea is not here today. Medea is probably going to take a small break because I guess she's overwhelmed.
with commitments.
So yeah,
Can't
overcommitment.
hear
Yeah,
anything now.
you can't hear it. So we got Al Salios obviously putting Travis Steedwood and regulars, and I don't know if Afro's gonna try and join us more regularly. I don't know. Might just one off. Keep our space open.
Guest
We'll keep
star.
we'll keep Medea's space open, and we'll have the occasional guest jump in and off, on and off.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So Afro, tell us a bit about yourself, man.
I
like
can't
that.
hear. I can't. Sorry, I can't hear you.
You can't hear us.
No.
I think because she's
Got
on her
technical
AirPods,
issues.
trying to be extra bougie. And then
Yeah,
that
you got too
working.
much. That's the thing. You got too much money, man. That's the issue.
Yes.
No, these are just £20 Amazon ones.
Oh, they're not AirPods.
That's
No wonder they're not working.
What? Yeah, that's it. Why don't you go ahead and plug in your headphones? And
the olden days, back when
Yeah.
Fred Flintstone still on the earth.
what?
Technology moves on so quick these days, you can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it's really fast. Wait, man, you haven't seen nothing yet. Have you seen that robot they're gonna bring out? The Tesla robot.
The Tesla robot, no.
Yeah, he's wow, no, but remember iRobot?
Is that the one that serves you, like serves your food and stuff?
Well,
That
it's gonna
robot.
be. I don't know if he serves you food. It hasn't really been published yet, I guess. But let's see, Tesla robot. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. My man's been watching too much of artificial intelligence and AI and all that. He's trying to bring it real.
So yeah, this is basically it. This is the Tesla robot. Look at that.
Looks like the
It's
car.
just another Tesla publicity. Okay, wait. This is the first time the company has promised an advanced prototype within a year. Okay, I don't think it'll be here in a year. But I think we're
10 years more
close.
like. Yeah.
No, I don't think that's a bit far, man. I think the way things are speeding up. Remember how small, like you got a little chip now that can store up to, I think it's almost half a gigabyte, maybe half a terabyte.
Yeah.
So once the chips get this small, you can store so much information on them. And when it's like that, you can build stuff like this. You know what I mean? Because that was always the issue before. You couldn't put the information that you needed onto the memory, but now you've got that. So yeah. So basically, this is going to be a robot, man. And I'm looking forward to that, man. I just wondering, there's a lot of people are scared of robot stuff, and they think that maybe that might be programmed to kill us at some point.
But they said that the machines were going to take over. Bro, Terminator said.
I mean,
And now look,
the Terminator is not
we're
real.
allowing it to happen. It's been predicted. We're allowing it to happen. Right? Because
Well,
we're too lazy.
It's
You know,
true,
What's
innit?
going on? The world's become so lazy. You're gonna allow these robots to come into your yard. You won't do nothing. You won't even move. You won't cook your dinner. You won't even go to work in probably 20 years' time. You'll all be working remotely, just plugged in to the system. And the robots will be doing everything for you, going shopping, just doing craziness. It won't be you actually on your phone anymore, like
Yeah.
searching. You just send your robot to do it. Like it's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like when the information on the webs gets sent, it'll be your robot doing it. Going to the shops,
yeah, that's true. Oh, actually,
going to buy trainers,
saying that,
driving
we
the
just
car.
bought one of those. Have you seen these little robot vacuum cleaners that go around cleaning your house? We just bought
Yeah.
one of those. The Epic, man. The Epic. It just goes around,
imagine.
like, just picking up all the stuff and stopping at each wall,
You
turning.
don't
and
understand.
It's Epic, man. And I guess
can
this is an
imagine.
advanced version. An advanced
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner.
Oh my god, that's what I'm saying. Everything will just be doing everything for you. You'll just exist. Well,
Yeah,
not
but don't
do
you see the
nothing.
positives? Don't you see the positives from that though? Because I think the human is the only thing that hasn't got. I think we got dumber actually. I think there's a point in the history. Yeah, I think the point in history there were people like if you look at some of the text and literature people wrote back then, they were way more advanced. Man, people. Okay, they were probably. How can I say? the people were not allowed to reach their potential back then.
No.
But the people who did reach their potential were like
Yeah.
way higher than anyone who's probably alive today. You know what I mean? Because we're kind
It's
of
because we've got too much waves and going through the air, which is just killing us off daily.
could
So
be
back
that.
then, you had no technology. If you did have technology, it wasn't technology that's affecting the atmosphere now.
Yeah. Oh wow, what's
Oh.
going on there?
I was bouncing back.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I think people could, when once all this stuff comes over and takes our mind off going to mundane jobs where you're just picking up boxes and moving them from left to right, we can start going back to our real purpose of like true evolution. You know, with that we're really smart, that we're like aliens, that we can like maybe, I don't know, maybe flying is too crazy, far fetched, but like
That's what I mean.
like telepathy. I'm sure we could be telepathic at some point. If we really
At the end of the day, all right, then we'll have all these robots doing all this stuff. The only thing we haven't managed to do yet is travel through time. As soon as we've done that, we've conquered everything. You get me?
Yeah, but time travel. Time travel's crazy, man.
You know what? We actually do. I think we already do time travel, to be fair. Because when you're in the car, you're going really fast and you are traveling through time. Because you get in there quicker than if you walked. So you're traveling through time, aren't you? You
Yeah, but you kind of want to go backwards.
So you're not traveling through time.
You can't go backwards in time. You want to go back through time, innit?
Yeah. And that's what we need to find out.
Would you what would you do if you could go back in time, Travesty? What would you do?
You know what? I'd probably go and speak to myself.
You ain't going very far.
Like you have to, say a few things, tell them a few things. Like anybody would, I'd say, yo, Google, invest. Before it was there. Even if you drop £1, you get me.
That Bitcoin would be better, innit?
Not that or Apple, Microsoft, innit? I'd be a billionaire.
Oh yeah,
living the dream for technology. I'd just probably invest in a big company, so I knew I was going to be ultimately rich young.
Yeah, get capital. I think I would do that. I'd probably invent
the internet, definitely, because the internet came about as I was in my early 20s. So if I jumped on it then, when it was just AOL, and you didn't have like Google, well, I don't think you had Google and all that. No,
well, internet was out way before that. It was just for the rich.
It was, yeah.
No, it was military, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I would have jumped on it from then. I would have just said jump on the internet, and not just the search. You get me?
What would you do? Put in where would you go?
Oh, if I could go back in time, I'd just make different choices. I'd
You go back.
I'd take different. No, not forward.
You go forward. You go back.
Yeah.
You go far back. You go back to the dinosaurs.
What you've learned.
What are you on about? I'm on about going back and making different choices. So ultimately, the outcome will be different. I'd be a lot more outgoing and a lot more knowledgeable. And I'd probably be in a different country right now instead of on the podcast.
The thing is, you're still young enough to do that. Though that's stuff that you can actually change now. You're not.
Yeah.
You ain't
I can't. Boris says I can't.
Boris
says I can't.
The thing is, in Brazil, for example, you can go to Brazil tomorrow. I know,
Brazil story.
You can go to Brazil tomorrow, and once you get in there, you don't have to quarantine. You don't have to wear any mask. You don't have to do nothing. You can live a normal life.
I'm at age now. I have to pay for a lot of things, and I'm really expensive now. Whereas if
an illusion.
I was the age of our youngest sister, I'd be living my life proper on freeness. I'll be licking a living.
It's probably good to go to those kind of countries because remember, Brazil's a beautiful country. Is there any money there?
Of course, if you're a bit inquisitive, you can make a lot of money there. A lot.
So there's rich people there, or is it just like?
Real,
how
go
to the population is rich? Is there more poor than rich?
I wouldn't.
And there's no middle middle ground.
To be fair, I would say from what I saw, of course, there's a lot of poor people, From what I saw,
And this is it.
there's areas where people can live decent. You can have a decent life. There's a lot of those areas.
So you
You
see
just gotta
that
get
right
to
there.
them.
That's what I mean. And if you're not coming with anything and expecting to go to that country and make anything, it's going to be a double struggle. It's hard enough in a country where you can make a lot of money to make money. You get me? But to go to one of those countries and think you're going to get rich, you got no chance. You got to come with the money to be able to make more money.
I think, well, no, I think you have like a competitive edge over there, people, though. Because, like, for example, in somewhere like Brazil, I felt like as a foreigner, you're favored. And look how many people come from, like, let's say Afghanistan and at the moment, like Syria and stuff, and come to Europe
Yeah.
and do have a good life, or people who came from Poland and stuff and have a decent life in England. Okay, England might be received as a better country than Poland, but they still have to do. They still start with nothing. You know what I mean? And I think you can do the same thing in Brazil. If you start a little coconut stand, you'll be fine.
Yeah, but what if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted a good job?
If you want to be lazy, then you ain't gonna make nothing. But I'll tell you what: if you work in Brazil, you'll make money. You'll work.
Mm.
If you're just looking to get a normal job, which you shouldn't do anyway, if you move to another country, you should be trying to make yourself self-employed and take advantage of what they don't have. What you learned in your, so for example, that bubble tea. I remember seeing that in America when I was there, just before bubble tea got a bit crazy, and I
Yeah.
didn't see it in Germany anywhere. And then a couple of years later, when I came back from America, and I saw some geezers was like, "Yeah, I found this idea in America, and I started shops now, and now it's got bubble teas all over Germany." And I was like, "You criminal!"
It's mad,
So
isn't it?
basically,
Yeah, but I agree with you because when I've been to Germany, it's not as developed as it could be.
yeah.
In certain
It's just
places,
developed in a different way.
lacks a lot.
It's developed in a different way,
Yeah,
and they've got
yeah,
the
it
little
is
bit behind and stuff.
more regimental.
Yeah. So you could do that with like someone like Brazil. You could say, you know what, I didn't see I don't know, flat tires there, run flats. And you go there, take the idea of run flats over there, and everyone's like, yeah, I'll buy that off you, and then you're done, you set up. You know, that's all you have to do, man. I mean, making money's not as long as you're willing to do a little bit of work, man. Making money's not that hard, to be fair.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
In putting, for example, like in, let's say, in Asia, half the Asian world, or Africa, or Middle East, or Brazil, they'll look for English teachers. You can go there and make a proper living teaching English, like more money than what you're making now teaching English there. But a lot of people don't do it, although they've already acquired the skills. They just speak English. That's it. You got the skills. You know what I mean? So,
But you know what it is? It's being able to talk to the person, to let them be able to teach them, because you should be bilingual anyway. If you're going to be able to teach English, you've got to be able to speak their language so you can explain to them why it's said like this or how it's pronounced.
I think it was actually, I don't know if that's true, because when I started learning German, for example, I went into a class and the woman said to me, "Sure, we're not speaking normal language, just speaking German. So whatever you know, you're getting by. If you don't know anything, then you're gonna learn." And he was really like that. He was like, "Oh, I don't know." We had a book and you could read the book, and he was like, and there was no translation. He was like, "Okay, I got to figure the words out." So if you have to get a dictionary next to you and be like, "Okay, that's the word." It takes a bit longer, but it can be done. It can be done. Absolutely.
Right, then. That sounds like a regimental
Yeah.
way of learning,
No,
I
I'm
suppose.
official Germany. Oh no, it's Afro there. I want to ask Afro, what would you do if you could go back in time? Afro? Afro's asleep, man. Your Afro's the worst guest we've ever had, man.
He is.
Oh my God.
We've got people, our listeners out there, public,
yeah.
and we're letting them down today, Afro, with our
Yeah.
special guest.
Afro's the worst guest. Anyway, I say, so if I was going to go back in time, I'd probably go all the way back to the beginning. I'd try and go as far back as then to find out what happened. You know what I mean? So if I could come back, I could say, yeah, you know what, I saw what happened. You know?
Before your existence.
Yeah, of course.
Could
I'll
you,
go
you
back
think
in
you could
time.
do that in real life, though? You could
I
go
don't
back before your existence if you could travel back in time, or could you go back as far as when you were born and that was it? You could, because you've only really lived those years. So in the quantum realm, as they say, could you really go back to where you never ever existed, unless there's another you living in ultimate dimensions?
If you believe in the idea of parallel universes, then yeah, so you can go back. You just jump on another timeline and it can go back. So you still
True.
exist on this timeline, but in another timeline, you probably, like, I guess you live on I guess the multiverse theory is probably quite not, I wouldn't say true, but has some weight. You know that we probably exist in different forms in many
Yeah.
different lives, with different paths that we took that changed the different. You know, it's possible.
Yeah, true.
So then I think you could probably go back. I just remember you going in the machine and you're going past the time, so you wouldn't. I guess you wouldn't unwind yourself. You wouldn't get. In theory, you wouldn't get younger, would you? You'd go back in time, the
But
same
no,
age.
that's what I mean. It's your timeline. Your timeline. You could only go back as far as your timeline. You can't jump on anybody else's timeline if you didn't exist because you was nothing. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you could go back in time, but you could only go back the maximum years you are.
that's true. I don't
But
know.
You
what
get me?
if
Because
you're
what
one of them
timeline you gonna jump on?
souls?
You get me? How can you say you wanted to go back and see Mozart? How are you going to jump on his timeline when you would never existed in that time?
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
How do you know?
Who would
though,
you
they
go
say
as?
that-
Who would you go as? Because you weren't there physically. So probably that's why we've never been able to travel back in time.
Like I said, I'm guessing
Really?
using some sort of function or unit to get back. What was you gonna say, Puddin?
Mm.
I was gonna say, how do you know? Because there's those people that believe that they've been here before in a different time, and then they have those people. Forgotten what they're called. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
but
psychics or something else.
Puddin,
And they said, "Oh, you was alive back in the 1700s, and you was this, and you was that, and this is
but
how you
again,
died."
that was your timeline. So how long, if you are reincarnated, and you can go back as far as when you existed, yeah, but that's again, it's in the next world. It's a different time when who you are now, you weren't there,
Hmm.
even though you exist now. You get
Yeah.
me? So it's crazy.
All right. Yeah, man. Guys, anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, man, because I got a 2-year-old or 1.5-year-old who's crying like hell and she needs me to go and put to bed. So I'm gonna go do that. Thanks for joining me anyway. Put in travesty, and yeah, other Afro. Afro, you're officially the worst guest we ever had. God.
Yeah.
She's gone again, man.
2 out of 10.
Yeah, 2 out of 10. All
She
right,
was
guys.
here in spirit and not in
Yeah,
physical form.
yeah, man. All right, guys. I'm out. We'll talk next
Okay.
week, okay? See
All right.
ya.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.